On the surface, Ave Maria looks like a dream come true. But is it a dream or a dud for the first-time homebuyer? That's the question we're going to answer today. Is Ave Maria the first-time homebuyer's dream or dud? This channel focuses on everything to do with living in Southwest Florida. If you're thinking about buying or selling or just have questions about real estate here in Southwest Florida, call or text me at 239-450-5786. If you'd like to schedule a 10-minute free informational Zoom, click the link below. A few years ago, I had the privilege of helping first-time homebuyers purchase a home here in Ave Maria. They're a wonderful couple, and I've enjoyed watching them get used to life together and the community. But when I followed up with them about a year ago, I was a little surprised to find out that they were not overly happy with the town of Ave Maria. Now, they loved the golf cart aspect, they loved the small town feel, but that's about where it stopped. They weren't dissatisfied with the house they bought. What they were dissatisfied with was the lifestyle that they were looking for, but had to drive a long distance away to get to. So today I'm going to take you through some steps for determining whether Ave Maria is the right place for you as a first-time homebuyer to buy your first home. Now first, Ave Maria looks like a price dream. And let's be real, it is. Naples, with a median home price that bounces around $600,000, is a hard place for first-time home buyers or young buyers or small family buyers to buy a home. And when you look at Ave Maria, it looks like it is a dream come true, with new construction homes starting in the mid to low 400s, resales below that, condominiums in the 200,000s. It looks like a price dream. But does price always make the right decision? Well, that's part of the journey, and that's part of my role in helping you and guide you through this process to determine whether price savings equals happiness and long-term joy versus longer commutes, time distance to the beach, and, well, lack of nightlife. All of the steps that I'm going to be walking you through here are available by clicking the link below for my 7 steps for first-time homebuyers guide. The first step, before we even beginning to really even talk about types of home, new construction, resale, condo, is what can you afford? And my first step is always to connect you with one of my trusted lenders, a lender that has the heart of a teacher. We want to make sure that you fully understand what you can afford. Now, the first step of that is looking at what's on your credit history, and that lender will work with you to know what your score means and what you can do to actually improve your score in a very short time, and how much cash you need to have to close. That is the purpose of a lender. I'm not a lender. I'm a real estate agent. I can't advise you to what you can afford. Once we know what you can afford, then I can help you walk through the process of determining the best way to use what you can afford. So the first step in determining whether Ave Maria is right for the first-time homebuyer is to know what you can afford by working with one of my trusted lenders. All right, so now that we've talked with the lender and we know you can get approved and your credit is in a good place for you to buy your first home here in Ave Maria, we're going to need to take a look at what you can actually afford. Now, there's a lot that goes into your mortgage payment, and your lender will have worked with you on that. Again, remember, I'm not a lender. I work with the lenders to help you figure out what you can afford within your mortgage payment. And inside that mortgage payment are the HOA fees and CDDs that are part of Ave Maria. Every single homeowner here has an HOA fee and a CDD, plus your taxes, insurance. It all goes into the cost of living here in Ave Maria. So you need to know what your real payment is going to be. You also need to know how much cash you're going to need to have to close. And that's where the lender and I work together. There are programs available, but they're not always available for every single person. So the lender and I will work with you to put together a plan to know how much money you have available to close. And that goes into affordability too, because the more cash you have to put down, the lower your monthly payment will be, or the more house you could potentially afford. So now that we have your pre-approval and we know what you're comfortable affording, and again, that's really important. You, as first-time home buyers, you really have to be comfortable with the affordability of your purchase. It's not just what the lender says you can afford, because I have seen in my own real estate journey, I've seen them approve me for way too high of a payment than I was comfortable paying. So once we know what you're comfortable paying, now we can start the search. And now is time to decide whether Ave Maria is the right lifestyle for you now in your stage of life. As I mentioned, for the couple that bought a few years ago, they loved the pricing, they loved the house, they still love the house, they still love the pricing. But what they didn't know, they didn't like, was having to drive all the way into Naples, anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes, to have the type of nightlife that they were wanting to have. Young couple, no children, they wanted to enjoy their friends in town, but they got tired of driving home late at night and then having to drive all the way back into town for work the next morning. Not to mention the distance to the beach and distance to other things like restaurants and shopping. Ave Maria does, as you know from my other videos, Ave Maria does have a Publix here. They now have a hardware store, they have a Dunkin', there's coffee shops, there are restaurants. So there's hairdressers and barbers and there's a lot of things here in Ave Maria and more coming. But the reality is that most people that live here in Ave Maria have to make plans in order to go to like the big box stores. If you want to go to Sam's Club or Costco, it's a day trip in. You take a cooler, you do all of your errands while you're in town to save the back and forth. That's part of the lifestyle of living out here in Ave Maria. And frankly, it's the lifestyle for most of the people in Golden Gate Estates and Northeast Naples anyways. But the reality is that is life here in Ave Maria. Now with the elementary school on the way and expanding sports fields that are going to bring more things for intramurals, the small family may find that it's an appropriate lifestyle here in Ave Maria. If you're looking for activities after 9 o'clock, it's probably not the right town for you. So once we've looked at whether Ave Maria is the right lifestyle for you, now we start to have the conversation about whether new construction or resales are best fit for you. Sure, when you look at the MLS or you look at Zillow or any of the websites and you see condominiums in the, 290,000, the mind instantly goes to, oh wow, that's amazing. But the reality is, condo living is different. It's got to be right for you. But also, there's a lot of HOA fees that go into condo living. Communities like Maple Ridge have much lower HOAs, but you have to be okay with either paying for someone to maintain your lawn, or you have to be okay with pushing a lawnmower every week during the rainy season. So there's a lot to consider beyond just new construction or resale. You have to decide what type of lifestyle, what type of home do you want to live in here in Ave Maria. That's where I come in. We have those conversations. I help walk you through those type of items. So the question really comes down to, when it comes to Ave Maria and the first-time home buyer, Well, it really comes down to this. Are you a small town kind of person? Do you want the golf cart town where you can drive your golf cart into the Publix, load it up with food and drive back? Or if you want to meet friends down at the pub in town, you can jump in the golf cart and head on down? Or are you wanting more of a lifestyle where you're going to Outbacks and you're going to Sushi Thais and those type of restaurants, and that means driving all the way into Naples? So today, I hope this has helped you decide a little bit whether Ave Maria is the right place for the first-time homebuyer. I love Ave Maria, don't get me wrong, but it's got to be right for you. Because if you don't like where you live, no matter how nice the house is, and we can find you a really nice house that fits your budget here in Ave Maria, but no matter how nice the house is, if you don't like where you're living, the location where you're living, you're going to be calling me in a few years to sell the house and find you a new home. Ave Maria can absolutely be a dream place for first-time homebuyers, but it can also be a dud. That's where I come in. My goal is and my mission is to help you find the perfect place for you to buy your first home, or your second, or your third, or maybe your 10th home here in Southwest Florida. If you'd like my complete guide to buying your first home, click the link below, or just call or text me at 239-450-5786 and let's have a conversation about your goals and dreams for buying a home here in beautiful Southwest Florida. Thank you for watching, and if you're with me to this point, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to be notified about all future videos. Until the next video.